So first of all, this is a topic that affects all of us, definitely in the pandemic right now. And that's partially because we all have mental health. So mental health is part of our overall health. Sorry, I'm still like trying to get to my timer here. And like by the time we're 40, 50% of us are going to have either direct experience with mental health. And if you're not part of that 50%, you probably have someone in your life who is suffering with some mental health stuff. And so I think this is something that we can all kind of try to build our literacy in. So what is mental health? Well, it's not black and white, that you're sick or that you're not. It's a spectrum. And so that's going to be the kind of main point that I want to make today. At the peak of our mental fitness, our mental health looks like being able to enjoy life. We have a strong sense of purpose and we have strong relationships and we're just enjoying and living life. But mental health is impacted on a number of different levels. So on a biological level, we might be genetically predisposed to having mental health issues. In my family, I have a biological mom and dad who have severe schizophrenia and rapid cycling bipolar. And me and my two brothers, there's three of us, are at a 2 in 3 chance of developing. And all three of us have been inflicted with severe mental health issues. And so on the next level is environment. So that's really going to dictate whether or not our biological predispositions and our lifestyle is going to progress into potentially some mental health challenges. On the next level, we have culture. So mental health affects all cultures. This level is really about looking at how we view mental health and our willingness to then go and seek help. So this is really where stigma lives, and it's a really big issue that we encounter in our society. And then finally, on that societal level, we have our social determinants of health. And so basically what we're seeing here is that people who are of low income, women actually, and millennials are actually most susceptible to developing poor mental health or mental illness in their lifetime. So I was saying that mental health is on a spectrum. And so what we see is that spectrum is not only just, is my mental health good or poor, but also do I have an illness or not? And so what that means is that I can have really, really strong mental health, even though I have a mental health diagnosis, or I could actually experience really poor mental health and not have a mental health issue. And so we tend to think, oh, it can't happen to me because I don't have this mental health issues diagnosed. And we tend to think that once you have schizophrenia, you're just always plagued with symptoms, and neither of those things are true. So a quick word on mental illness. If you do have symptoms of poor mental health and they're persistent over a period of time, we're really just looking at patterns of symptoms, more specifically, like really, is there a big mood component, or is there a big like psychosis thought component to it? And so the DSM-5 is our Bible to diagnose that, and the criteria range in severity. So the big thing, one of the things like Juliana mentioned, COVID has allowed for us to do a lot more work on really talking about mental health. And so one of those tools that have come out from the Canadian government is the Wellness Together. And so it's a survey. You get an email, I think like every 2 or 4 weeks, just to check in, and you answer a pile of questions. And of course they're collecting data, but it's also really neat to sign into the website, and they can actually tell you where on the spectrum you are. So asking yourself, am I doing okay? And if I'm not, if I'm noticing changes in my sleep, in my eating patterns, my interactions with other people, my moods, then asking what has changed. And you might notice that this has been going on for a long time. So asking myself, how long has this been? And then oftentimes we can identify a crisis where, especially if you have any thoughts of suicide, we want you to be using the mental health helplines and going to the ER if you do have the intent to act on those. Or if you're just really feeling like you're not able to manage either addictions or some of the thoughts and feelings that you're having. So that is 5 minutes. I will very quickly say that when we say get support, there are different levels of intensity for that support. So that could look like just informing yourself on mental health. And so I'd encourage everyone after this presentation to do a quick Google search and see if you can learn something more about mental health, maybe challenge some of your conceptions about it. And at the most intensive level, that's when you're talking to your doctor or being admitted to hospital. And there are tons of resources and specific programs to get you back on your feet. So that's the presentation, and mental health is absolutely recoverable. I don't know if that's a word, but I made it. So yeah, thank you very much, guys.
Thank you.